Financial experts are sounding the alarm of the potential impacts of the global trade war sparked by President Trump's
U.S. car imports due to President Trump's tariff plan. Now, that includes about 37,000 cars sitting at U.S. ports right now.
Slowdown has begun. Bookings of container shipments from China to the U.S. are down nearly 50%.
It started without sirens, without headlines, no dramatic breaking news alert, just a name quietly removed from a shipping manifest, then another, then 10 more. And before Washington could respond, the ripple effects were already spreading across ports, rail lines, and supply chains that feed the global economy. As of June 9, 2025, 7 major international ports have canceled U.S.-bound shipments. Containers once filled with agricultural products, electronics, auto parts, and consumer goods are now blocked, rerouted, or outright rejected. This wasn't caused by a cyber attack or natural disaster. It was the result of a policy decision, tariffs, and the retaliation that followed. This isn't a minor hiccup in logistics. It's a political standoff turned economic weapon. At the Port of Los Angeles, the numbers speak volumes. 10 scheduled ship arrivals for early June were canceled, more than the total cancellations recorded for the entire year of 2024. And this isn't just a West Coast issue. Long Beach, Oakland, Savannah, New Jersey, ports across the US are experiencing similar disruptions. Ships from Asia are skipping US stops entirely or turning back mid-voyage. Before we go further, don't forget to like this video to help us beat the algorithm and reach more people. But this isn't only about what's not arriving, it's also about what's no longer leaving. Across the Pacific, China is striking back. U.S. agricultural exports are being replaced by Brazilian contracts. Soybeans, once a cornerstone of West Coast exports, are now being shipped out of South America. California ports that used to hum with grain activity are now eerily quiet. One agricultural economist put it simply, a 10% Chinese tariff on U.S. crops is enough to stop exports cold. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Major shipping lines, including MSC, Costco, and Ocean Network Express, have suspended at least 6 weekly routes between Asia and the US. These lanes once carried over 25,000 containers a week. Now that capacity has vanished. Officially, it's called blank sailings, but in practice, it means thousands of US businesses are now waiting for goods that are no longer coming. In early May, nearly 25% of all trans-Pacific shipping routes were canceled. That number is still rising. Importers face mounting delays. Exporters have goods with no way to ship them. Ports are left with idle cranes and empty berths. This isn't a recession, it's retaliation, and it's hitting every corner of the transportation sector. The disruption isn't limited to ocean freight. On May 2nd, China removed its exemption for low-value air cargo. Within days, air freight capacity from China and Hong Kong to the US fell by more than 25%. Direct flights carrying electronics, clothing, and machinery disappeared almost overnight. E-commerce businesses scrambled to find alternatives. US retailers began reporting shortages. This isn't speculation, it's measurable, and it's getting worse. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update like this. What makes this situation different from past disruptions is the level of global coordination. Ports in Asia, North America, and even parts of Europe are intentionally reducing their exposure to US-bound cargo. That means fewer bookings, fewer containers, and less traffic. In logistics, that spells trouble, lower revenue, smaller workforces, and fading confidence. Shipping companies are reacting the only way they can, by cutting routes. Fewer ships, fewer departures, and even when vessels do leave port, they're often half full. US exporters are watching contracts disappear. Grain, poultry, and chemical products are sitting idle. Some are being rerouted through Canada or Mexico to dodge tariffs. Others are simply canceled. California's soybean exports to China haven't slowed. They've stopped. Brazil now owns that trade lane. The Midwest is also feeling the shock. Farm equipment manufacturers report stalled orders. Machinery sits unused in warehouses. Steel shipments are being delayed or dumped on the domestic market at a loss just to clear inventory. The ripple effect is vast. Rail traffic is declining. Trucking volumes are dropping. Warehouses are filling with goods that can't move. Retailers are now facing inventory gaps. Electronics companies are halting production due to missing components. Auto suppliers warn of part shortages. And inflationary pressure is growing, not because of excess demand, but because of strangled supply. One industry analyst summed it up: we're not just running out of parts, we're running out of lanes. This is the moment where tariffs stop being political tools and start becoming economic wrecking balls. We're seeing it at the consumer level. Electronics are delayed, prices for imported appliances and tools are climbing, automotive accessories are becoming scarce. These aren't luxury items, these are daily essentials, and the longer the disruptions persist, the more the pressure builds. The trade war, once a topic debated in news studios, is now playing out in real time. In grocery aisles, hardware stores, and repair garages, prices are inching up, supplies are thinning, and shoppers are left asking, what happened? The answer is simple. The flow stopped, and it stopped because the rules of global trade are no longer clear. China has escalated beyond tit-for-tat tariffs. It's using every tool at its disposal, licensing delays, customs slowdowns, increased inspections, to paralyze supply chains. Southeast Asian ports are quietly sidelining US-bound shipments. European terminals are dragging their feet on transit clearances. And in the US, port authorities are scaling back labor hours as cargo traffic dries up. This is no short-term disruption. This is a structural shift. We've seen supply chain crises before, during the 1970s oil embargo, after the 2008 financial collapse, and again during the 2020 pandemic. But this is different. This is an economic blockade by design, crafted through policy, sustained through retaliation, and fueled by broken trust. And unlike past crises, there's no recovery deadline, no vaccine, no bailout, just more brinkmanship, more instability, and more collateral damage. For small businesses, this uncertainty is catastrophic. From furniture stores to auto dealers, owners don't know when their products will arrive or at what cost. Many now quote customers using three price models: one if goods arrive without tariffs, another if tariffs hit mid-shipment, and a third if the shipment is canceled entirely. It's chaos. Planning is impossible. Hiring is frozen. Expansion dreams are dead on arrival, and the middle class is caught in the crossfire. As shipping routes collapse, prices go up, budgets tighten, vacations are canceled, dental appointments get pushed, worn out tires don't get replaced. These aren't hypotheticals, they're already happening. With shipping volumes tanking, logistics companies are preparing for cutbacks. FedEx, UPS, and several regional freight carriers have quietly begun reducing staff. Trucking routes are being slashed, dispatch systems are seeing lower demand, and equipment like container chassis is piling up, idle, at levels not seen since the height of the pandemic. And yet, despite all this, there's no clear off-ramp. The tariffs remain, the retaliation continues, shipping companies adapt, consumers lose. What comes next is no longer about diplomacy, it's about survival. The question now isn't whether the system will adapt, but how much damage it will suffer in the process. This isn't just a story about container ships, it's a story about store shelves. If this breakdown gave you new insight into what's really happening, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and tell us in the comments, what part of this global shipping disruption surprised you the most?